Hello and welcome to PJ's Media Reviews. Today we're talking about Raised by Wolves, the first half of the first season, and The Boys, the first half of the second season. So we're gonna start with Raised by Wolves, which is an HBO Max original series produced, and the first two episodes are directed by Ridley Scott, and it's basically the. There are going to be spoilers, but the basic plot is that there are androids in the far future who are raising human children on this desolate planet. And there are other humans on an ark who are very religious and worship Sol, which is basically the sun. So, Sean, you saw the first 5 episodes. You just finished the 5th episode. What are your general thoughts about this show so far?
I'm trying to find your link. Did you send out a link for this? Are we sharing this?
Oh,
I can't see it on the YouTubes either.
Okay.
Is this on PJ's Media Reviews or is this on Boatrick?
This should be on PJ's Media Reviews.
Oh no, it is. Yeah, I've got it. Okay.
Okay.
Good. I'll be able to send out the link.
It's okay. Fine. Well, while you're doing that, I'll just further talk.
I can tell you my thoughts. Actually, if you want to send out the link, then I'll retweet it after. I can talk about my thoughts.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
I was told by you and by Starfleet Boy and by Kyle Sullivan over at Drexpertise that this was the show to watch. It's like the science fiction thing that's happening. And I find it to be very, very creative in a lot of ways. It kind of reminded me a bit of the 4th season of The Expanse in certain aspects of it. Like there's a desert and they find like a derelict. We don't know if it's a ship or a building or something. And that kind of reminded me of like the 4th season of The Expanse. But I like the way the topics are being addressed. And I like the aesthetics of it. Everything is also desaturated and kind of like, I don't know, everything's alien, I suppose. And I like this whole. It's almost like the Inquisition or like the Crusades, but in space. You know, you got these faith, like these worshippers that are all dressed in their religious attire, and they've got this religious kind of warlike costume. But they're all in space. It's all science fiction. I like the idea of that. I think it's great. It's dragging out a bit at this 5th episode by now. Like it's slow paced.
Yeah.
And I'm afraid that maybe I don't know. Maybe it's just a little too slow at this point, and not slow. Like some shows are very slow, but in a good way. I don't know if this one, if it's that, or if they simply didn't have that much to say during the middle of the season. So maybe they could have cut like 2 episodes out and have it just as an 8.
I actually think the 5th episode is the weakest, but I still kind of liked it. I didn't understand the whole thing with the priest burning, and that kind of confused me. But we'll get into that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there are some things that happen which are pretty abstract, like there's a sex scene and like the bleeding and the visions, I suppose, during the sex scene.
Yeah.
In this episode, there are certain things that are a bit, kind of peculiar, I guess.
All right, so I just tweeted out that link. Yeah, I really enjoyed the show, like a lot. I was very impressed with it. I didn't understand exactly what the hell I was getting into. Like I went into it very much blind, so it was all a discovery from moment to moment. I was like, at first, I was like, okay, these androids are crash landing. Okay, cool. And then they start doing that thing where they're taking the embryos that have been grown out of the pods, like, you know, how like almost like a puppy is born, how you take it out of the sack. And it's a very interesting android / human reproduction process that fucking like blew my mind at first. I was like, man, this is fascinating. And I like how, they don't arbitrarily give the android woman, like, genitals and stuff like that. They cover that over, so like if it makes more sense that way, because why would they need nipples? And actually, she feeds the babies through the tubules. So she's this android, you don't know where they came from. And then, in the first episode, she turns out to be this fucking necromancer thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa, where did that come from? Like, and she's flying around, and anyway, yeah, it's a fascinating first episode. I just watched before I came on here the first episode and a half, and yeah, you're probably more familiar with the latter half of the season, but yeah, just what do you think of mother and father as a couple?
They're pretty dysfunctional.
Yeah.
I found for a pair of androids, right? But that's I suppose they're not. So from what I understand, humanity had been creating various types of androids for years at that point, and not only has Mother been technically reprogrammed from her original programming, but also she simply wasn't the same kind of android to start off with as Father, right? And so basically, they are two different styles of androids, and they have different functions, I suppose, different strengths. And so they don't they serve the same purpose, they have the same goal, but they don't go about it in the same way, which I guess is what one could say strong parenthood is about. Your goal is to have, like, it's the well-being of your child, but maybe different ways of proceeding. Having different, like, input is good.
So when you find out this guy Campion, not the child, but the guy who reformed the necromancer into Mother, had already built Father in the way he wanted. So I'm assuming Father wasn't some kind of, he wasn't a necromancer. He was basically probably a service android. And I think she's unique. I haven't really clarified that in my mind watching the show, because, like I said, I've not seen.
She's the only one she's the only necromancer, from what I understand, that's ever been modified, or that's been kind of, I suppose, how would you put it?
Reformed?
Reformed, yeah. Reprogrammed.
Yeah.
She's the only one. But then she still has that necromancer kind of aspect to her, which I don't know if he, like, the guy, like the hacker, I don't know if he had intended on that staying in there.
Yeah. I don't know.
Or if it just came out.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like, maybe he could have gave her the option to go turn into the necromancer, I guess. Because wouldn't he know that would happen if he didn't replace her eyes? Because apparently her eyes are the power source of the necromancer transformation.
Well, he didn't have other eyes to give her, I think. Well, I mean, he could have found them, I suppose.
Yeah, he very could. If he knew that, he would have said, like, I need to give her a different set of eyes so she doesn't turn into that thing again. But perhaps because of that, he purposely gave her or left those eyes in, because at some point, if there was a major threat to her the human children, she could fucking take care of it. You know what I mean? So that makes sense to me. And this Campion guy designed Father as, his ideal version of what a human father should be. Teach the children, do what's best. Work with the mother in the best possible way, because he's the most diplomatic. She's the most temperamental, I find, and
they do represent, I think, the cliches of parenthood.
Yeah,
of, like, mother and father.
Kinda, yeah.
But that would be kind of, I suppose, that's they as parents, they represent the view that this creator that they have. Like, this is what he perceived parents as, or this maybe like what he thinks parents should be like, or how maybe he saw his parents. So that's how he created them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I find it fascinating. The like just their relationship and the way, and as you said, like they're pretty. I suppose one of them is clearly designed to be the mother, one of them is clearly designed to be the father, but they are pretty androgynous, I
Mm.
guess,
Yeah.
in
There's no
in their
sexual.
form.
There's no
Yeah,
love
no,
between them or anything like that. Yeah. It's
no, they
just
really are just two
par-
programs.
they're two partners. They're
Mm,
more partners than lovers or anything else like that. Yeah.
yeah.
Um. So you get the kid campion. Uh. Okay. So basically, what happens to the children that they raise? They each die off one by one, and campion is the last one standing, basically. And when the new children come into play that were stolen from the Ark, um, they start getting sick.
Mm,
And then they eventually find out. Well, the kids then think, and Campion is totally on board. He's like the ringleader and all this because he's an innocent kid. He doesn't know any better. He's paranoid, like he's scared. So I understand that. But he's like, yeah, she's poisoning us, or they're all convinced now that the mother is poisoning them because they're all getting sick. And it turns out that it's not mother's fault. And, you know, uh, the children learn that. And then I like the whole thing where the father, the kid doesn't want to kill that alien thing. And he actually wants to go out and hunt for vegetation. Like it's like almost like a veganism statement. It's like we don't want to kill and eat animal flesh. We don't want to hurt any living thing. And I like that about the kids because, or at least Campion, and even the other children. They're like, we don't want to do this shit. And I understand that, but the father's like, you need to learn. You need to learn how to hunt. We're out here in the wilderness. You got to do it. I love all that. Like I just love the show, really. Um,
yeah,
yeah.
I have one complaint which I talked to Sahel about a bit. It's that the androids have like the concept behind the show kind of is like the juxtaposition of basically faith and atheism, right? And the big deal is these androids, they were created by this atheist guy, and they were sent here to basically repopulate or restart the human civilization, but without religion, because they believe that religion is the cause of the wars and the cause of the destruction of the planet. Um, and so the androids want to raise the children without any knowledge, like they want to raise them without faith. They want them to be just base all of their opinions on scientific truths and learning what have you. And my big complaint is, why would you even mention religion if that's the case? Like, why would you plant the seed or like the idea of the concept of religion and faith? If you just never mention it, then the children would never even, they wouldn't come up with it on their own. Like no one would. I don't believe a child would blindly pray um in this environment with like there's just two androids and the other kids. I don't believe one would just blindly ask the heavens to help save their sister or something like that, if you've never talked about religion at all.
Wait, are you talking about the original children or the kidnapped
Oh,
children?
the original children. The
Okay,
original.
yeah,
The
okay,
other one, the other ones that, so to speak, in the android's eyes, tampered with already, I suppose.
yeah, okay,
But the
yeah.
original children, it's like, don't mention religion at all. Don't even talk about the concept, and you shouldn't have any problems like in that faith. It almost seems like they're trying to indoctrinate them against religion, and in that sense, atheism almost becomes like a faith, a religion in itself.
Yeah, exactly. Because this Campion guy who modified her, we don't know his whole backstory yet, but
Mm,
it you could imagine that he's a man who has suffered, and his suffering has led him to probably loathe uh, religion in general because of what it's apparently done to the world. So maybe that's his flaw, that that instead of teaching love, the basic truths of life, like love and respect, and now they're teaching like, yeah, religion bad, those people are bad, don't even think about getting to know them or trying to broker some understanding, destroy them. And that's, yeah. Let's see if at some point in this season, which probably won't happen this season, but some kind of alliance between, the androids and
So there was one religion, from what I understand. There was the Mithraic religion, which are the people that believe or that have like faith in soul, the
yeah,
sun and the light. And then
yeah,
there's the atheists. Those are the two camps. Those are the two sides, basically. I thought there was going to be multiple religions that were fighting out. And then, of course, there's the atheists, which to them, from their outside perspective, kind of look in and say, well, all of you people are crazy.
yeah. We may yet discover another faction of.
Well, there's a mystery person on this new planet. What is it, Kepler 22b?
Yeah,
There's a mystery person here.
yeah, is running around and they can't catch him.
So the alien animals are amazing.
Yeah,
They're like real creepy. They're terrifying. They're strange as hell. It's peculiar that they haven't met them until now. So maybe they're like a migrating species of some kind. More to the point, if there are animals on this planet, that they clearly seem to be carnivorous, then there must be other animals. Like they need to be eating something.
yeah. Well, we've only, I think, skimmed the surface on like what's around, because the parents are warning the kids, there's dangers out there. Don't go out there. And one of the ARC children, the leader, the smart guy, he's like, there's nothing out there. They're just saying that to keep you in this prison. And the kids discover, there's stuff out there.
I thought there was going to be something at the bottom of those holes at first.
Oh, yeah.
I was under the impression that there was like some sort of dialogue that was explaining like I don't know, because he wanted, originally the father wanted to send the kid down. He wanted to send Campion down there.
Did he?
Is that what he wanted to do? What did he want to do? Or did he want to go get? Did he just want to go and get the pod?
No. Are you talking about the first or second episode where the father goes down the hole and the rope? And
yeah. What was his plan there? What was he trying to do exactly?
Oh, he was trying to recover something in the pod, I think.
Okay, he was trying to recover the pod.
Or something in the pod.
Okay.
I can't remember. I'm sorry, I can't remember.
No, it's fine. It's like I was trying to figure out, because I almost was under the impression that there was something living on the planet or someone that was like down there or something, and they knew about this. I don't know. It was peculiar. But then they're supposed to be the first people that have, or the first craft that's arrived on this planet. Clearly not. Well, maybe.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's going to be a situation where I don't know, in this season, because we're halfway through already, but there are other completely different parts of this planet, like the tropical zone and all this stuff. So who knows who we'll meet.
From a real world perspective, I just don't think we'll be seeing that in season 1, because I feel like the same way Westworld didn't show us like other zones in the park in the first seasons, because like they build all of these Westworld sets, and so they film it all in these sets for season 1. I feel like wherever they went here, they filmed everything on location here in this kind of rocky desert kind of place. They did a bit of a forest, but they're not going to go and do like tropical zones or like beaches in this first season. Like it's going to be very contained to where we are now. Travis Fimmel has reverted back to being Ragnar. He wasn't in the first episodes, and now he is. So yeah, I'm a bit disappointed. I wanted to see a different Travis Fimmel, but all right.
his performance, I don't want to trash on him, and he's not bad. His performance is strange in this show. I find. I know that he's not the man he appears to be. He took over another man's identity, and so did his wife. They took over. They took over a couple's identity. But I don't know.
Have they now? Are they now attached to the child or something? Because they seem like they want to go and rescue this child like it's their own.
Yeah, well, that's their child. Well, not technically, but that's
Not really. At first, like, oh, we have to take care of this kid because like it's part of our secret identities. But now, like, once you're on this strange alien world and like everything is turned to shit, do you really need to? I think maybe they've just become fond. They've grown fond of the kid and they want to like raise him like it's their own, right?
Oh, they definitely think of the kid as their own now.
Okay.
They show scenes where like they're getting to know the kid, and I think especially the mother. I mean, you see the mother's desperation when she's talking to the head guy, the Vedic or whatever he's. Like, please, like, let's look for the children. Like, she's really
His Eminence.
Like, we really need to find our kids. Like, and yeah, they definitely want to get those kids back, and that's going to be a tough sell for them. I mean, the necromancer is just so fucking dangerous and powerful, and she can just. I love how she just can turn into this thing and become this like, and then they have the music. It's like, oh, it's like something out of the Exorcist or something. It's like, I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah, it's pretty freaky.
It's freaky stuff, man.
It's an interesting character, this necromancer, this mother, right? It's I don't think it's like
she killed father.
I've really seen before. Yeah,
she rips his heart out, and then
she explains that it wasn't out of madness or folly, like it was a decision. She did that because but she didn't know at the time that she could find another android and replace him, right?
Exactly. Yeah, she did. Like it was like she has these weird tells that indicate to me that she can snap, and this is evident in how the children especially respond to her at times, because it's like you're a caring mother and you seem like you very much want to love us and take care of us, but we're looking at your expressions and they're freaking us the fuck out, man. So we don't know about you.
Well, I would feel very much more. I would feel safer just with father, right?
Oh, exactly. Father's the one you trust the most.
The moment father dies, well, of course he doesn't die; he comes back. But the moment she kills father for that first time, and you realize that like there's only mother left, you're like, oh god, ooh, this is not good.
Yeah, I actually thought like at first, not later, but at the time, I was like, oh my god, I think she's the villain now. I thought she was like going to be a good mother.
Well, is she not the villain though? We don't know that. There's no clear villain, I suppose, in this. Like,
not a villain, but will she snap? Will something set her over the edge like it did in the first episode?
There's no clear. I think like the clear protagonist, or like the clear it's Campion, I suppose. The kid.
Yeah.
Is who we follow, but there's like who do you root for? The kids. That's it. You just want. I suppose you just want the kids to survive and to be able to create a community. That's what I'm thinking. All of the rest, be it those that follow in the light of soul, the androids, everyone freaks me the fuck out anyway. So, I mean, yeah, we'll see. And this whole story about Travis Fimmel's character and his wife here, that they stole the identity of someone else. I don't know how that exactly plays into all of it, because they're clearly not Mithraic.
Yeah.
Well, they're learning about this religion as it goes along, and it's playing along with it.
They're atheists.
Yeah, and now we have the man in the helmet.
Yeah, like what's that all about? It's an interesting. I know. I hope the second part, definitely not improves, but just it remains consistent with the quality so far. I don't want it to dip. I don't want it to dip in quality, and then the end is like, eh. Just want it to, yeah. Just want it to stay good. All right. Time to move on to The Boys, season 2, episodes 1 to 4, and there are 8 episodes in this season. And yeah, I'm just gonna appear on camera now. I feel
appear for the boys.
Yeah, well, I look like shit. I feel like shit anyway. Sorry about that, folks. But anyway, I like this season so far. I gotta say, the 4th episode is probably my least favorite, just for, and spoilers, obviously, but the whole dating interview thing that led up to this whole the Deep wanting to get find a wife. I thought it was for a dating show, but it's actually an audition to be his wife, which is just fucked up in itself. But I did kind of find that last girl funny, where she's all like talking really sexy and like, I like giving pleasure and receiving, that whole thing. And he's like, yeah, she's the one. She's the one.
No,
That
she's
was
not.
that was the only funny part, but like I'm kind of sick of him now. I think he's a
Yeah.
useless character, but I'm also kind of interested to see where this culty group, if they'll actually get him back into the 7. By the way, this review of the Boys is going to be all over the place. We do have comments. Mandalorian trailer. Oh, thanks a lot. Because I want to watch that now. God damn it.
I don't want to know. Well, they're gonna show Ahsoka in it, I suppose.
I'll watch it later. I missed the Raised by Wolves thing. Did you catch my cold from the internet? No, I did not. I didn't catch a cold. It's just a sore throat, and I don't have any other symptoms. And where I am, there are only 2 active cases, and those cases are nowhere near where I am. So, and I've been wearing a mask everywhere, so I think it might be just something else. Hopefully. And if it gets any worse, I will get tested, because it is very easy to get tested here. Thank goodness. All right.
Cool, mother.
And
Maybe she can help you out.
Starfleet boy, I want to ask, are you okay? Are you feeling any better? Because we all love you. All right. Let's get back to The Boys. A very violent show.
Yeah.
Very violent. Sean, go ahead. Tell me your thoughts on The Boys season 2 so far.
I think The Boys is impeccable in every way except for the Deep. Like I genuinely I love the comedy. I love the drama. I think that, and I know that I hear more and more about this. The Boys TV show isn't following the comic books to perfection. But I don't care. Like, I find that the TV show is doing very, very well with all of its characters, with all of the storylines that it's introducing. I think the visual effects are pretty solid for the most part. Some visual effects in like Raised by Wolves are pretty janky, but in The Boys it's good. I like, the only thing that I'm over is like the Deep. Like, even the music, everything is good. I just find that this whole Deep situation is like, just get rid of the character. I feel like he's overstayed his welcome, and I don't want to see him anymore.
One of the biggest things about this season so far is the introduction of a character called Stormfront, who is basically a superhero internet troll slash guru slash cult leader of sorts.
Yeah, and she's like an influencer slash superhero slash villain.
Yeah, she's definitely pure evil. You know this by the time you get to episode 4 for sure. Well, episode 3 even. That she's a real piece of shit. She's a tyrannical racist to the point, like, she's like like if Hitler had superpowers, this is what he would be doing. You know what I mean?
Mm.
I mean, you can, and it's funny because
I would argue that she's more intelligent than Hitler because
oh yeah, well,
she's hiding her true self. I suppose she's hiding her true nature.
mm,
She's changed her costume and changed her like her name, and she's changed her identity basically at this point. She's a terrifying character. I feel like she's gonna die before the end of the season.
or maybe she kills Homelander.
But I don't think so.
No,
Homelander has become like a symbol for the show. They have to keep the dude.
So episode 1, I can't remember how that starts off.
Well, they're looking for Billy Butcher.
Oh yeah, boy, yeah, Billy Butcher's gone, and he the first episode, most of the first episode, he's not in it, and I like when he comes back at the end and he's like, "Don't worry, Daddy's home." It's like,
Carl Urban's amazing.
Carl Urban's expressions and just he's a great actor, man. He has a perfect acting face, doesn't he? Like he really does.
He's good. I find that Carl Urban, he's like very recognizable. You recognize his face immediately, but he always kind of melts into the role, like into the character that he's playing. Like I wouldn't confuse his Billy Butcher with his Dr. McCoy, right? Like they're clearly different characters. And I'm not just talking makeup or hairstyling. Like he does a very good job at being those characters. And I found myself what's his name? Jack Quaid. I hear Boimler now.
That's all I hear.
In some of those episodes, I'm like, sometimes he's just talking back. Like when Billy Butcher throws like one of those really off-putting lines at him, and then Jack Quaid doesn't know like how to he responds, but I'm like, oh, that's just Boimler. That's just Boimler talking back. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm watching the show now. I'm like, that's a Boimler moment. Oh, that's Boimler. I feel
like Jack Quaid is Boimler in real life. He's like the most Boimler you could be.
Yeah. Starfleet Boy says Stormfront. She's like the Palpatine. Like I guess
she's got the lightning.
I like the interesting story that with A-Train and the fact that he's like the 20th fastest fast superhero, right? And Homelander wants to replace him. And
that scene was impeccable.
Yeah. And how Homelander's like, yeah, my condolences. You know, we can still be friends, etc. He's just so impersonal.
The delivery is just so good. Like that actor, the way he goes, like, don't worry, like you mean a lot to me. We're friends, etc. And then he says something like "stay cool" or whatever it is. Like he says the most generic goodbye.
Yeah.
And I love how the girl that's taking care of, like supposed to be taking care of this, she like freaks out. So we had a plan. We were supposed to organize this, and he just walks in. He's like, "You're out of the 7."
Yeah.
But that's it. He just like breaks it to him like that. I love it.
And Anthony Starr, who plays Homelander, man, he needs to get some recognition for his portrayal as that character because he's damn good, and he is the most interesting aspect of the show.
I don't know if he'll ever be able to get like a non-villain role now. I feel like he's going to be eternally typecast as like the scary guy now.
Yeah, he's going to be the new Lex Luthor. No.
What's his name? What's the other one's name? I forget his name. Giancarlo Esposito, is that it?
Juan Carlos Esposito, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, him. He is now typecast as basically the bad guy is in everything. What's his name? Yeah, that's it. He's so good in this show as well. That's it.
So the FBI agent in the first episode, her head getting exploded. I had no idea that was going to happen. That was like totally out of left field.
Yeah, I have trouble knowing like which characters are gonna stay and which characters aren't in this show. Like when they start introducing people, like, oh, is this gonna be like a recurring character? They're gonna use this character in their stories going forward. But like truly, they do just straight up murder a lot of people. I think
Yeah.
people that aren't the boys and people that aren't the seven don't have much chance of staying around. And even them, like even the seven, seems like they could probably just change him up quite often. Like, what's gonna happen to A Train now? Are they just gonna kill him off, or is he gonna leave? And
I think A Train is going to be in there for the long haul. He's going to have some kind of redemption.
okay, he's
I don't.
eventually maybe gonna
Well,
ally himself with. I don't think anyone's gonna accept
well,
that.
he's back in the seven now, I believe, because Homelander made that public statement on TV about he wanted to push diversity. So it's like, yeah,
Oh, so he's like, yeah, we have a black man,
and we haven't get any outs. Maeve,
Queen
Queen
Maeve.
Maeve.
We have a gay.
You know, it's funny because in the show, like nobody sees him outing her against her will as like offensive or like not the right thing to do. It's like, oh yeah, he just outed her and it's cool. And she looks clearly uncomfortable with it. And it's like, can't the talk show host pick up on that? But yes, minor nitpick.
Well, they do that two times actually, because when Stormfront's like first introduced to this whole thing, and she's basically filming the behind the scenes of all of the things that's going on, like you can clearly see that both Queen Maeve and Homelander are really uncomfortable with the situation. They're like not down with what's going on at all. And apart from one comment that says like, "Oh, Homelander be shook," everyone else in the world seems like everyone seems impervious to the emotions that are going on their faces. Everyone seems to like be blinded. Maybe it's they're blinded by the heroism of it all, but
um, Black Noir is a great scene in the opening of the first episode, I believe, where he assassinates the soup terrorist that was hinted at the end of season one, who I assumed was going to be kind of a big part of season two, and they're like, no, we took care of him right away.
I actually thought that was Homelander in the beginning. I literally thought it was Homelander wearing the Black Noir costume.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was like, this. I didn't understand that Black Noir was that powerful, and I was under the impression that he arrived flying. Um, and
I ha-
so
I don't think I could be wrong. I've never seen Black Noir fly.
well, that's the thing. And in that scene, I was under the impression that they arrived flying. And I was like, is this just Homelander pretending to be Black Noir? But then, no, it would seem it is Black Noir actually doing that.
And I think Black Noir would have a huge problem with Homelander, uh, imitating him and,
Yeah,
yeah.
using the suit. But yeah.
So Homelander's fucked up. And they have that thing where he goes into the little boy's bedroom and he picks up
Oh, yeah.
he picks up the bunny and starts
Holding
and it's like it's wow, he's crazy.
I love him so much, though. He's one of the best characters on the show. He says
he's
nothing.
he's funny crazy.
When there's the whole situation with the whale that dies and what have you, and all of the superheroes walk past, well, all of the seven walk past the whale, and and Black Noir has this moment where he looks at the whale and he's like, he respects, like, I don't know, he's like paying homage to the whale and the sacrifice that it made or something.
There's a wonderful scene in episode 4 where he goes to the clerk to find out the location of Butch, and she's like, do you want an almond joy? And he like picks up the garbage pail, throw that in there. He communicates everything to her with no words.
Nothing. Not even expression.
Nope. And she's just like, he just stands there and waits for her to figure out what he wants.
She figures it out. She starts doing the research. She starts looking it up, and then the scene ends with him like sitting next to her. She's like, "Oh, okay, I guess we can do it together," or whatever she says. But
Yeah.
he just sits down next to her. Oh, it must be so uncomfortable having Black Noir just sitting next to you.
It's a shame that the actor who's underneath there doesn't get to show himself. But then again, like he
Have they
doesn't have.
shown, like, do we know who the actor is?
Yes, you can look up who the actor is under the suit.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, Black Noir is a wonderful character. I love him. Starlight, I don't know about her in this episode, in this season so far. I liked her more in the first season, and I liked Huey in the first season more than this one. Not to say that this is bad or anything. It's just this seems kind of slow. I
The
think
one character,
what?
Huey and Starlight, they're just one character,
Oh yeah,
essentially.
yeah.
Like, because one story cannot work without the other, and vice versa. It's like they evolve as one story arc and as one character. I think, like,
Yeah,
if you were to take one out of the equation, the other one wouldn't have any purpose on the show.
there's a really funny conversation, and well, not a conversation. He leaves a message on Starlight's voicemail talking about you remember that Billy Joel music videos? Uh, You're Only Human, where that guy's about to jump off the bridge, and Billy Joel reminds him, just wait to get your second wind. Well, you know what, Starlight? You're my second wind. I'm like, fucking Boimler.
And then he's like, "Please don't listen to the message I left." Oh, no, he listened. She listened to it already, but he's like, "I just want to. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
I don't want to bring that up or address that anymore."
But you know, two of them are really in love. They're a nice couple. They're a little boring. Like I find a lot of couples in a lot of shows, just the whole romanticism of it, and could be the fact that I've been single for 8 years, but I just don't buy it. I don't relate to it, and I literally can't relate to it because I don't know relationships. I did at one point, but you know, those
I
weren't.
like boring
Those,
relationships in shows. I feel like they reflect real life better.
yeah, if they're
I,
done well.
it's not to say that, like, I don't mean to say that relationships are boring. I just mean that in real life there is, like, you don't, like, your significant other doesn't die and then come back to life and like a Lazarus pit or something. Like, it's not all, you know what I mean. There's no spores involved. That's not how real life works. It's just like, usually there are ups and downs in a relationship. Um, but it's a couple being, and it's not always like declarations in the rain, you know, just like big things, or like I paid a plane to write your name in smoke or whatever. Usually it's the little things that make up a relationship, and so I find their relationship quite believable and cute, I guess.
Mm,
In that it is maybe what people would call vanilla. It's very simple, very
mm.
straightforward. She's a soup, I guess, which is something, but she's not a soup when she's with him.
Speaking of vanilla, the deep, you know, vanilla fishy ice cream, with his fucking singing gills. And you know, I see a couple people like, I love that scene. That scene's so cool, where the gills are singing to him in Patton Oswalt's voice. You are so beautiful to me, and he's crying, and it's like it's supposed to be touching and hilarious, and it's as cringy as cringe can be to me. I fucking hate it.
I didn't know if it was. I didn't get the impression it was supposed to be touching. Um, but I really felt like they were going to kill him. Like, if they had killed him at the end of that third episode, if the Deep had died with his bloody whale,
Mhm.
then I would have better appreciated that whole thing. I would have been like, oh, there's this ironic comedy of the Deep being so lost that he tried to find himself, or tried to find his way back to, I suppose, reality. But it just didn't work out, and he was so much of a lost cause that he ended up, like, he was so delusional that he killed himself in the process, and I would have been fine with that. The
What
scene
do you?
was a bit cringe, but the most Deep scenes are pretty cringe at this point.
Yeah, it was kind of in the first season. It was funny at first. Uh,
How much a loser he is, right?
yeah, and there's a funny scene where it's like that song "Everybody Hurts" is playing, and he shaves his head, and I'm like, haha. And then they play that they play that tune again later on where he's all fucking depressed and shit. I'm like, okay, I get it. You're a sex offender who is depressed. I can't feel that much sympathy for you because
Yeah,
you
I
are
don't know
a
where
massive
they're going with
douchebag.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's it. I don't know whether I
I
don't
think
feel like they can redeem him though.
no. I think they're gonna make him worse, and here's how: they're gonna have him uh, uh, go along with the Scientology cult and marry this girl that he doesn't find it, maybe he finds attractive, but not as attractive as that last girl in the
He's
fourth
gonna cheat
episode.
on her by raping someone else.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know about that, but I think he's gonna get married. He's gonna try to be domesticated. He's gonna be like the family man, and uh, the Seven may accept him back by the end to have that like positive representation of a man who settled down, and he's not the same man, the sex offender that he used to be. He wants to start a new life with this wonderful woman, and this woman that he's going to marry may be an essential part of that, and she may turn out to like really drive him nuts, and he'll like, I don't know. That's just a wild prediction. I shouldn't go off on those tangents, but yeah,
It's more the cult that I'm intrigued about because like the deep I'm over him, but I'm intrigued about this cult. It's essentially a cult
yeah.
that he's joined, and I want to know what their interests are and like what's their they have to have some sort of ulterior motive or some sort of agenda. Like I can't see just a bunch of people wanting the deep to be in the seven just so he can, you know,
No,
go back to
they excuse me. They definitely want to profit from it.
yeah, somehow. This arrow this archer dude, I don't know, he's invested in this somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I feel, yeah, it seems obvious that they may like completely fuck him over or just milk him for all he's worth if he does get back in the seven. Because that woman from Breaking Bad who played Walter's ex-wife, I forget her actor's name, but she's very insistent that he marry this particular woman because she needs to set an agenda for her and him, and perhaps this woman that she wants, that she auditioned, is really someone that she's working
Oh,
with,
perhaps.
and are going to manipulate him, get back in the seven, be this kind of thing, make money, and then we can take a certain percentage of that because obviously we got you here, we deserve that. Could make him sign a contract or something.
Yeah, they're absolutely going to have like a hold on it. If that cult manages to get him back into the seven, then they'll have a hold on him somehow for
Yeah.
some reason. I just don't know what it is for the moment. I want the boys to kill another soup.
Like who?
It's I don't know, but like did you watch Pokemon when you were a kid,
No.
like the animated show? Okay.
No.
I have this thing. I have a gripe with Pokemon. This is very short, but the intro music is like "Gotta Catch 'Em All," and then he never catches any fucking thing. Right? He goes around every episode, and there's like always this adventure that might have a small moral to it, but he never throws a damn Pokeball to catch a Pokemon. And I'm like, dude, this is your mission. This is what you want to do, and this is what I want to see. I want to see different Pokemon, and I want to see you capture them. And this is what I want from the boys. I want them to kill the soup because that's their goal, right? I want them to kill the soup every damn season. So I would be fine with them killing. I originally thought they would kill the deep in the season, but then maybe they'll go to like Stormfront. But I don't think they have enough power to kill Stormfront, especially considering she's what 70 years old.
Yeah.
I don't, but I want them to kill someone. A-Train. Just skip. Yeah.
Kimiko's brother is in two episodes before he's killed. No, he's in three episodes before he's killed. And of course, Stormfront kills him in that scene where she goes into the building and she purposely kills the father, the black father, because she's racist, and then she kills the kids because she's a fucking super racist, and then she blows up this building and kills a shitload of people and causes like this huge tragedy. And it's like in that episode, and then she snaps the brother's neck, and Kimiko, she wants revenge. I found all of that in the first 2 episodes with them catching the brother, whose name escapes me, and Frenchie trying to talk to him, and eventually I thought he was going to be a part of the team, and I really actually didn't like it when his neck got snapped by the 3rd episode. I was like,
really?
oh, really? I was like, I know it gives Kimiko motivation to fucking kill Stormfront, and now you're expecting at the end, at some point, if Stormfront's gonna die, Kimiko has to be the one to do it. But I'm thinking, how can Kimiko do that? I don't think she's powerful enough. So I don't know.
I don't know how powerful she is. Like, I don't know if like the powers are going to be very well defined. Maybe this is like an MCU situation. MCU powers mean nothing. It all depends on what kind of story they want to tell in that moment. Someone is very the bloodlust is. It's not a bloodlust. Okay. I think every show needs to have an objective. You can't just stagnate. Like only Seinfeld could be about nothing and stagnate forever. But a show needs to be driven towards something, and I think that like the main objective in The Boys is to get rid of the Seven, or to at least avenge the death of Huey's girlfriend. Maybe correct whatever happened with Billy's wife, and to accomplish that they need to kill Soups. So I want them to do that. But yeah. Robbie says the doppelganger had so much potential before his death, plot-wise. That was really fucking weird.
Yeah.
That was so strange, that whole thing.
Before we talk about that, can I just mention one thing in the first episode? You're talking about like bloodlust and violence. I was thinking that scene where fucking Black Noir takes the guy's
oh god,
and just rips his head in two. Like it's from his jaw, like rips his jaw off, basically. I'm like, holy fuck, that's I was like, whoa. I see that in a clip before and I forgot about it, and then I saw it in the episode and I was still jarred by it. So yeah, Robbie says Doppelganger had so much potential before its death. Yeah, but I love what they did with him in the 4th episode, because when Miranda, right? Miranda is her the person he was imitating. Is that her name? Elizabeth Shue?
I forget. The Boys cast.
Anyway, yeah, he's imitating her, and she's doing the whole Madeline, doing the whole breast milk thing and feeding it to him. And I knew it wasn't her. For a split second, I'm thinking, is she alive? And then I thought back, I'm like, man, no way. There's no way.
I thought they had done a clone or something, like some sort of android or some sort of like. That's where I was going with it.
I thought it was a dream. I thought,
wow.
I thought this was like his dream space or something.
Like a simulation, maybe.
No, not even. Like he's having, like he goes to bed and he dreams about this stuff of Madeline doing all this weird shit, because it doesn't seem like her.
She's kind of off. Like in the beginning, you don't know, but she's kind of off. And then when you hear that noise and it reverts back to Doppelganger, you're like, oh dear God.
And he's like, turn back right fucking now.
You don't want to look at him.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, no, turn back.
He's completely ruined the fantasy for him. But you got to think from Doppelganger's point of view. It's like, hey, Doppelganger, Homelander comes to you. Doppelganger, you're going to do this thing. And he describes it in great detail. And Doppelganger's like, He's thinking in his head, I can say no, or I can die. Okay. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because I gotta
do this, or I'm gonna get my face lasered off.
Like, and yeah, it's interesting. He can't hold the form for too long before it's very painful.
He had the worst, I think, like, just the end of his life is horrible. If you think about it, like Doppelganger spent the last, months or weeks pretending to be Madeline, playing out this weird sex fantasy for someone that was probably terrifying him. and then he died. It's like
Yeah.
just the most horrible thing. And I do agree there was a lot of potential, but I'm kind of happy they got rid of it because I don't like it in shows when they use too much of this person can be disguised as this. But like I've had my share of that with Westworld season 3, where you don't know who the hell is who because every actor you realize they have the same actors, but they're playing the roles of a different character because they've transferred the consciousness. Or like I'm kind of over that kind of plot, which means if we don't have doppelganger, I don't like the idea of for an entire season this character. Ooh, turns out it was this character, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
And so the most fascinating scene in the show so far is probably in the weakest episode, and that's episode 4, with the last scene with Homelander and Doppelganger, where Doppelganger is kind of at his wit's end, and he really doesn't know what to do to satisfy him. So
it turns
he just goes all the way and turns into Homelander himself. And you're almost thinking for a second, yeah, maybe Homelander's gonna fuck himself. Like you really do think that. For if you do, it's probably just for a split second before you realize, no, maybe he's gonna kill him.
I didn't know. I didn't know. I was like, is he sold on this? Is he gonna go for it? Because he has he's such a good actor. He has that look on his face of like utter disgust. He was absolutely disgusted by what he was seeing, and he was. But then he was intrigued, right? He was like, could I do this? It was a strange thing. And then of course Doppelganger drops that line that we've all said at least once, like, is it gay if you fuck yourself?
Yeah.
Right? And he drops that, and I don't know, Homelander's just not he's not going for it.
Well, Doppelganger himself is clearly pansexual, as we learned in earlier episodes of the first season.
There's that weird guy that gets his arm cut off as well for cash.
Oh yeah. That's weird. He's like, I'll give you extra. Pay me extra. I'll let you cut off my dick.
Yeah, pay me like for $1,000. You can cut off my dick. I was like, what the hell?
Really? Yo. I wouldn't. Yeah. Well, I wonder if it hurts him. If it doesn't hurt him, I can understand why he does it.
Well, doesn't he scream when he gets his arm cut off?
Okay. Yeah. Maybe.
I forget.
Because
then, like, it looks painful when it grows back too. It doesn't just rematerialize. It kind of just. Anyway.
It does grow back pretty fast. Not like Deadpool style, where you got to wait a couple of weeks. Got to walk around with baby feet. I think. Okay, that scene with him and Doppelganger at the end of that 4th episode comes right after he has that conversation with Stormfront, and Stormfront is so fucking manipulative. She knows to back off.
I hate her,
and she knows how to say just the right thing to him. And there's a part where she does the whole thing where she strokes his ego, and she's like, "We all think you're the best," and blah blah blah. And usually that would work on Homelander, but I think in that instance, he understood how full of shit most people are when they say that about him. That it really is actually meaningless. So when he goes back to Doppelganger and he kills him, he's like, I don't need anyone. I don't
think that inadvertently she opened his eyes to the reality of the situation. That's interesting.
She was.
I feel like she was genuinely scared of him though, because the moment he turns on his eyes, she stands up. He's like, holy shit! And I think she was like, I'm gonna die. If I don't try and find a way to correct this, I'm going to die here and now.
But she's so smart and so old at this point, she knows how to deflect most situations. And she's very clever. And I love, I'm sorry, I've seen her in other shows. But the actor's name escapes me, but she's great. Looking forward to, I almost don't want her to die by the end. You know what would be cool?
I think she's gonna die. I would say she's gonna die in this season, but maybe not. Maybe they're gonna want to keep her on for like a few seasons. But I don't feel like she feels like She feels like one of those characters that they've pushed so hard into our face that they want you to be attached to her, or they want you to kind of want to know what's gonna go. Like, you know what I mean? It's just one of those characters where like they give so much of her just to take it away. I feel like that's what they're doing.
Mm.
That's very true,
Yeah.
Starfleet Boy.
Yes, the commentary on real life is well woven into the story and not too in your face.
Well,
Yeah.
I like the social. There's like a lot of social commentary and many different things in this show. It is more well, it's explicit rather than implicit. Star Trek has a way of making, it's all metaphors and that kind of. This is very much like this is how life is. Just take it.
All right. Any final thoughts on the mid-season of The Boys? I think we covered pretty much. I know we were all over the place because I'm just randomly thinking of because I haven't watched.
We haven't got notes
times. Yeah. I've only seen like even with Raised by Wolves, it was like I watched the first 2 episodes twice, but everything else, I just started rewatching it, but I only watched it the one time. And The Boys, I've literally only seen just those first 3 episodes a while back, and then just recently the 4th episode. But yeah, both shows are great so far.
Both shows are great so far. I think the pacing is better handled in The Boys. And I think we're going to see where the latter half of the season of Raised by Wolves goes, but I think they would have benefited from taking out 2 episodes and having like a bit of cadence, I guess, with the show, because some scenes feel like it's dragging out a bit too much, and like we don't need so many Travis Fimmel scenes where he looks a bit dazed and confused.
Yeah.
They maybe cut that out a bit. But they're great shows.
Yeah. Is there any other thing in movies or television that you wanted to talk about? I'll give you a little hint. Maybe the Dune trailer.
Oh, here we go. Timothée Chalamet.
Can we talk about the Dune trailer?
We can talk about the Dune trailer.
It's pronounced Timothée Chalamet.
Well, it's everything is French. Everything is French about his name, but he's from England, right?
Yeah.
He was Laurie in Little Woman.
Oh, that's on Prime. I haven't watched it yet. I like him. He's a goddamn good actor, man.
Oh well, Starfleet Boy likes him too, doesn't he? Doesn't he?
He's easy on the eyes.
He's good. He's good.
So have you seen the Dune trailer? I didn't mean to spring this on you. I just assumed.
I have seen the Dune trailer. I'm not one to watch a lot of trailers because, like, for example, you guys talking about the Mandalorian season 2 trailer. I won't watch that. I don't want to know. But Dune is different. Dune is Dune. So I had to watch the trailer, and also it's Denis Villeneuve, which, like, every time Denis Villeneuve puts out a project, it's the best thing in the world. So I just had to see where they were going with this. It looks great. I'm confused as to what's going on, but I assume it's going to be the same story. I assume it's like, gotta get that spice, yo.
How familiar are you with the Dune series?
Not as familiar as I would like to be.
So what have you seen?
But there's like a million books that have to be read, right? There's like how many? 6 books?
Oh, I have no idea. I'm not a Dune fan.
Okay.
I've seen the David Lynch version, and I was fascinated with it as a child because, for one, it was science fiction, and Patrick Stewart was in it, and I'd never seen him in anything else other than Star Trek. And I'm like watching this movie where he's got like this pug, and
that's the 1984 movie, and
I never understood that movie.
Well,
I get the gist of it, like the spice melange, but
it's a big miss. It's a big miss of a movie, but it's very creative. I find the universe very creative, and that's not on the movie. That's on the whoever he is that wrote the book, Frank Herbert. It's a very creative kind of universe, and I think aesthetically, like the 1984 film is just great. It's old, and there's a lot of weird stuff, but it's so much like a mix between Mad Max and I don't know. I
Um,
don't know. It's a strange thing. It's Mad Max and Star Wars all smashed together, but I like it. I like it.
so I'm sorry. Can you clarify? Did you see the 1984?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Um, like how long ago? Are you familiar with it? Like in any detail?
Oh, I saw it maybe last year or 2 years ago, actually.
Okay, because I've tried to watch that movie, man. Just tried, and that big dude with the boils all over his face, like
Oh
that
yeah,
makes me sick to look at.
it's disgusting.
Yeah, and
Well, wife on the two didn't finish it really. She was just kind of she still sat there and followed along to some certain extent, but it was one of those movies where she was just following along. She was on a phone and what have you. I was the one kind of just captivated by the nonsense that I was seeing.
okay. Um, I like the cast. You got Dave. You got a lot of Marvel characters. You got Dave
Mm.
Bautista. You got Josh Brolin and uh, Stellan Skarsgård. Uh, Jesus, Zendaya, who apparently is only in the last 20 minutes of the movie, as because the script that was leaked online, or she's only in the last 11 pages apparently.
Oh, really? But she got a whole poster for herself and trailer.
Now that could change because the script is probably, they could have changed her part, but she's supposed to be like almost like a tease for the next one, I guess. I don't know. He meets her toward the end. That's all I know. I think.
So is this planned? Is Denis Villeneuve going in? Like, is he doing multiple movies? I heard that he was doing a movie and that was going to lead into a TV show.
Yeah, I don't know about the TV show thing now,
He
but I
wouldn't be
know
taking he wouldn't be taking care of that. Like, it
he
just
wants to do a Dune series, I believe. I mean, that's his intention. I'm pretty sure. But see, the thing is, has Dune been moved again? Be- Because I think it should. I think it should.
Wonder Woman got pushed back for like a 17th time.
But I don't think 2020 is a viable year to do movies at
Oh,
all.
just don't release movies in 2020. People, give up.
Like, I want to go
Move
see
on.
this fucking movie in theaters, and I'm not going to go and see it in 2020. That's a fact. I'm
I
just, I'm
won't. I
just
won't
not.
rent. I won't rent Dune for $35 if it comes out because I don't want to see it on my TV. I want to see Dune in theaters. People. So stop releasing movies in 2020 and release them in 2021. Anyway,
Um,
have you seen Mulan?
oh, if you want to talk about Blonde, go right ahead. I have not
Have you,
seen. I want to
uh,
hear your opinion on this.
really?
Yes, I'll still be Timothy Chalamet for a couple of seconds, but you go ahead.
I think Mulan is not a very good movie, but I don't have the same complaints as I've seen online. I think the complaints that we've seen online are very childish and puerile. They complain about how Mulan in this movie is a Mary Sue. They say that she has like all of this innate power. They say that the story isn't faithful to like the Disney animation, and the other complaint was that there were like no musical numbers and no Mushu. And I think all of those complaints are bullshit because Mulan, first of all, has two training montages, one as a kid, one as an adult. The second thing is like if they had put a musical numbers, and if they had put Mushu, y'all would have complained anyway, because it doesn't fit the ambiance of the movie. What was the other thing that they complained about? And oh, the faithfulness. This story is more faithful to the original story of Mulan than the animated Disney was. So like all of those complaints are bullshit. I still think the action scenes were ass. Like all of the fight scenes were just garbage. The CG was poor, and like the editing, the story was mediocre, but the editing was just, oh my goodness, it was there were like so many problems with this movie that it felt like a movie that should have came out in the year 2000. Like this movie feels 20 years old, and
Uh,
so I think it would have flopped in theaters. And this was the movie that I wanted to see the most. This was the live action remake that I was looking forward to the most from Disney.
I heard the big complaint I heard was that Mulan herself is endowed with this chi, and
Okay.
it gives her extraordinary abilities from the start, which a lot of people complain that it eliminates the struggle that she has to go to,
I disagree.
has to go through.
I
But
disagree. The
okay,
movie
yeah,
implies that everyone has chi. All right, the movie explains that everyone has chi. It's just that some people are better connected to it or have like a better understanding of it.
yeah,
And Mulan has been ever since like her child kid fight training montage has been very in sync with her own chi, and that is why she's able to fight. But you can say that she easily got that. Like you could say that chi or connection to chi is hereditary, I suppose, because her father was a great warrior. You know what I mean? Like it's not as if. And then she struggles, and there's this whole thing where she's very very strong and very very good at. Well, she's not strong. She's very very good with the techniques of fighting, but she hides that to her other like to her peers, to the other male soldiers. And I think maybe people misinterpreted that and saying like, oh, she was the best all along. And it's like, no, it's just because she's been training. She learned how to do that. I didn't feel like she was. It's because the original animation was I suppose feminist maybe or it approached certain topics in a feminist kind of way, and they had this, but then they added another layer to it where there's a whole other female character in the movie that talks about female empowerment, what have you. So I think I don't know. A lot of people are very insecure as well when it comes to female empowerment messages in movies nowadays, and sometimes I agree they're ham-fisted and they're not done very elegantly. But I really don't think that is the problem with this movie. I think the problem with this movie is that the fight scenes were garbage and the CG was shit, and that it was edited like ass.
and also you have that you have war scenes where there's bloodless violence, and
Yeah, that's very Narnia.
yeah,
Well, there's this. Okay, there's a person that shoots an arrow. All right, and the arrow is going to the arrow flies 300 feet because it's shot at Mulan, and there's a bird that flies that leaves the point of where the arrow left quite a moment after the arrow, but manages to still get in front of the arrow. And I'm like, first of all, that's not a thing that happened. Like that is bad writing because that wouldn't be possible. Like this owl or this eagle or whatever it is cannot fly faster than the arrow has been sent off. And then the bird gets shot by the arrow, and then so like that happens. But this happens halfway through, like you know what I mean? The distance between where the arrow shot is here and Mulan is here, that happens here, and yet it cuts to a scene where Mulan catches the bird, and I'm like, but they were like 100 feet away. Like she wouldn't catch the bird. That like all of this editing, and this is just one example of how the editing was mediocre in the movie. It's like this feels kind of thrown together, and the worst thing is it's 2 hours long. So it's like it's not like anyway. It's not the best thing that was in the whole thing that made me smile was Ming Na Wei, the original actor for Fa Mulan, was in the movie. And I love seeing her. Like I love seeing her in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And she got a little cameo role in this movie, and I was happy to see her. I'm too much. Stuffy voices, I'm too much. I'm sorry, mister.
okay, I'm gonna look up the Mandalorian trailer now, and I want to see if I can just put it up there. And
All right, you're gonna force me to watch this Mandalorian trailer.
well, we're gonna
do a live reaction.
We're gonna do a live reaction, yeah.
Okay.
If it works out, I might give me a second to set it up. I want to put it at a lower quality so it probably doesn't stall as easily. Oh no, I gotta wait for this ad.
I had no investment either in any of the characters in the movie. I wasn't I didn't feel attached to any of the characters in the movie, which was disappointing.
All right. Oh no. Cue it up. Okay, it's queued up. We're gonna take a look at the Mandalorian trailer.
Hit me with it.
Well, see, when I do this, like everything kind of slows down.
Starfleet Boy, have you seen Little Woman, by the way? Any of the versions? I'd like to know if you think Timothée Chalamet is better than Christian Bale or not, because I find Christian Bale is better as Laurie. Ooh.
You know, there's a hilarious SNL skit from back in the day where about Little Women, where Chris Farley falls in the freezing cold water, and he starts screaming, "Why won't you help me? For the love of God, I'm freezing to death." And the women are just like, "What will we do? What will we do? Get me out of here is what you should do." Chris Farley was great. Anyway, let's take a look.
Oh, here we go.
Okay, I'm going to slow it down. Or I'm going to pause it. I'm going to pause it at different points. And I'm pretty sure you can't hear this, so. How's this coming in? Is it too choppy?
Oh, that's all right.
Can we get the ship? And you can't hear this, right?
Well, I can't hear it, no.
Okay, good, because that will definitely get me in trouble.
Flag.
It's like wow, wow, wow music. She's saying you must reunite it with its own kind. So I'm assuming
I just put it on my own PC.
Okay, good. Oh, nice. Oh, little baby Yoda. An order of sorcerers called Jedi, and I think we just saw a Jedi there. Look, I think we have Jedis in this. What? They have a what? Oh yeah, you're still watching it. Streaming this October. This pretty much looks exactly how I expected it.
I'm way ahead of you now.
Yeah, I know. Oh, cool. This is the way.
They put a little baby Yoda in the Mandalorian logo now.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it was all right. Didn't show too much.
It didn't show too much, which is cool. It's nice they didn't show too much, and it feels like, I don't know. They've got more budget now, haven't they? They're going to different places.
I think it's probably considering the success of the first season. I like how there's boat stuff. So yeah, that's cool.
I like that. We've gone full Waterworld. Kevin Costner and space people.
Yeah, I like Baby Yoda. I like how he closes that thing when he knows there's danger.
Mm.
So, yeah.
So now there's like a clear objective. He has to get this Baby Yoda to an order that can protect him. So like we're gonna have Jedi, maybe, possibly.
I think it's gonna be where he's eventually gonna get to Yoda's Baby Yoda's people, whether that be the same species as him or a collection of different species who are the Jedi.
Mm.
Yeah.
Do you think we'll see more Yoda? Like, what is his species? What is his race? Do we even know? Is there a name for that?
I don't think there's a name.
Okay.
It's just like the Yoda species. And
the Yoda / Yaddle species.
Yeah. I could be wrong about that. I don't know. But yeah. Anything else you've seen lately or you want to talk about?
Not really. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. ended, which was it was a nice emotional ending for the show.
Could never get into that, really.
Lodex is fun.
Mm.
I don't know what else there is in the nerd world going on. I like the new Star Trek Discovery logo, and I'm intrigued to see what they do with season 3.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's the perfect cue to leave this whole discussion of Raised by Wolves, The Boys. What else? This thing, that thing, the other thing. But
The
yeah,
Mandalorian.
The Mandalorian. Uh, I think I may split this video up into separate segments. Like one, not like this is a general talk show where we can like discuss things. But if anybody wants to like just have a video link to, I did that with Starfleet Boy on the other channel where I did Star Trek Day discussion, and I cut out a segment of us doing a very on my end it was half-assed because I couldn't control the Twitter video right, and I kept fucking up. And I released it as a separate segment. It became my most watched video. It got up to like 700
You told me
views.
that. That's the Lower Decks trailer, right?
Yeah, it got like all these views, and it was like thumbs down, thumbs down, thumbs down. I was like, "Fuck this!" I deleted it. I said, "You want to watch it? You want to watch it? Watch our entire discussion of Boat Wreck Live, and that's how you'll get it." Because those ones actually, get positive. It's like people randomly clicking, don't know who my channel is. Like, who are these guys doing this half-assed review of? And he can't work the thing. I'm not disparaging Starfleet Boy. It was my end that was fucking up. But yeah, but I almost felt like Raised by Wolves was a show I could probably talk about on the Trek channel because it is science fiction. So
it is.
Maybe if I get into the Expanse or something.
The Raised by Wolves feels more Expanse, in my opinion. And the only thing that I would really, really complain about is the fact that they have all of this holographic displays. I'm over these things. I just don't want any more holographic displays in any shows anymore.
That's a very cliche thing now.
Yeah, it's become just generic sci-fi. I think it costs less. They don't have to build anything. But yeah, Starfleet Boy gets the views. Starfleet Boy does get the views. I recently noticed that your channel has been getting those mad views.
What does he say? Oh, evening then. It's 3:30 here. It's 1:54 p.m. where I am. Yeah. And it's 5:23 p.m. where Robbie is. So we all live in different time zones.
We all live in different timelines because it's 1 here.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's not. It's 12:30.
Sometimes on New Year's Eve we're in different years.
Time travel.
Time travel. All right. Thank you, Sean, for joining me for this lively discussion, and it's always great having you on. And I want to thank Robbie and Starfleet Boy in the chat for making this extra fun. And until next time, folks, stay frosty.